what can we do now to attract the next generation of creative industries? And I mean, yes, in the sort of city perspective, but particularly here in Battersea, what do you think we can do to really big up Battersea?
I think something we're looking at in this organisation at the moment, but I think something which is interesting in terms of the kind of, if you look around the room and the kind of organisations that are here, is how you create an ecology, sometimes between larger, more emerged, more established organisations, and somebody said earlier, more start-up, early organisations. And in terms of encouraging a new generation of creative industries, we need to find ways of supporting those start-up industries. The start-up companies that start at BAC are, in 10 years' time or 20 years' time or 30 years' time, the companies which occupy the National or the Barbican or tour all around the world. If BAC stopped doing that, Nick Heitner has said at the National that the programme at the National Theatre would quickly atrophy because of the fact that organisations like BAC aren't providing that. So how can large organisations, and I include BAC now in this mix as a more established organisation, how can we turn ourselves to look at the more emerging organisations, the more emerging start-up ideas, and better support them? Families do it really well in terms of having an ecology and parents and then grandparents that look after siblings and younger brothers and sisters.
I think we're doing it right now, aren't we? In terms of, we're here, we're discussing what's going on in Battersea and Wandsworth. Most people here are from the sort of the creative world. I've already talked about the importance of helping startups, making it easy for people to get the office space. One thing that I'm part of is networking with people in the area. So we're doing it now, but we're also doing something tomorrow night. It's organised purely through Twitter. If you use Twitter, you'll be able to find us on there. But that's a group. We've got at least 30 or so people coming along tomorrow night, and those are all, a lot of them are in creative and technical industries, but they're all in the area. So these things are going on all over the place. And I think it is leading to a great community that will ultimately attract more businesses of all types, and I think it lends itself towards the creative types.
Yeah, I think you're right. There is definitely something happening, but we're not quite sure yet what it is.
I think the rules are changing every day.
Yeah.
That's it. It's as simple as that. It's the wild, wild west out there, and it's a lot of fun.
Well, I guess 2 points. One, London's art scene's been pumping for 10, 15 years. There's some hugely successful names that even I would know. So I guess we've got that on one hand. We've got more money being spent in Battersea over the next 15 years, haven't we? Embassies, American embassies, presumably they got a few quid. Clapham Junction, I know we lost a couple of 42-storey towers. There's a few quid knocking around. I think it's down to us demanding culture. I think it's us not sitting back, and I think the exciting thing about what's changed is that Battersea's still courting money. Battersea, the power station, please let it happen, is so exciting. Looking at pictures of that in the Standard is just amazing to see it. The American embassies, and I hear 5, 6 other embassies interested. Clapham Junction, acres of London not being used, all being redeveloped. I guess we've just got to demand it, that the cultural aspect, the art aspect, that our London and our Battersea is taken into account, but at the same time embracing this huge change. The fact that your project's going ahead inside that iconic landmark building that's ours is amazing. So I think we've just got to demand culture with that amount of money being spent. I can't even write the noughts down.
I think that if we can encourage local spaces to take the risks that David was talking about, that will make a big difference. I started this comedy club in Shane Manny restaurant. In a restaurant, everyone said, that's barking. And it wasn't. It worked. It worked really well. And from my perspective, all the comedy that happens appears to happen in Islington and Angel. Why? We've got plenty of spaces down here. You've got 3 of the largest comedy clubs in London just there, just behind us. You've got Highlights, which was Jongleurs, if you don't know. You've got Comedy Carnival, and you've got La Laugh. They're huge spaces. So yeah, if you've got a space, I can provide you with comedians who would love to have a night. But the other thing is everyone knows that Islington's where it's at. Well, why do they know? Because the message has been getting out there. So let's get the message out there. Let us attack Clapham Junction Station. You know, I can't emphasise it hard enough that Clapham Junction is our biggest resource if we choose to use it. You guys do support. You've got this. It's fantastic. But more,
Yes,
give us
absolutely,
more.
I'm completely agree with that. With the Doodle Bar and Test Bed, we've tried to make one of those spaces. We're up for our alcohol licence committee hearing next Thursday, which is looking a little bit shady, and what we really need is support for that. And we are trying to make a space that does support these kind of ventures. We've got the kind of support within the council as well to say, yeah, we understand that that's like a good idea, and get on board and kind of help it and try it out. And then there's a bit of freedom for everyone, for comedians, theatre, working with 503, working with Battersea Arts Centre. Then we can start to create a kind of critical momentum of these grandfathers helping the kids, which is us, which is sort of trying to get over the little hurdles of locals and council and licensing, and then you just start to sort of launch out and create that momentum.
Yes, it's about speaking collectively and positively about the area, being open to contact with each other. I think you're absolutely right. I think we are doing it, and nurturing this notion of it already being a creative area rather than a cultural quarter, whatever that means. You know, it's creative and it's thriving, and we have, you know, great possibility, but we're already doing it. I would just say, with reference to that point, greater transparency, greater sharing would be really wonderful as well. We're an organisation which seems to have had to learn everything from scratch, and you feel like you're reinventing the wheel and then you find out, you know, 2 years later that someone's done something incredibly similar to you. And it's painful because you know you spent 6 weeks effectively writing the application or trying to meet that set of funders or whatever. And certainly for me, a networking event like this, I feel really green at. I should have been doing this 4 years ago. I'm going to take full advantage of it now. So let's do as many of this type of thing as possible. Because the more we do, the more we'll know about it.
I completely agree, and it's brilliant to see, you know, loads of people turning up to an event like this tonight and to meet people and to find out who else is doing what. I'm actually based up at the RCA in Kensington, boo hiss, not in Battersea, but we've been talking a lot about now we're moving more operations down to Battersea. What will that feel like? What will the culture of RCA Battersea be? And it's going to be different to RCA Kensington, and it's really nice to be able to go back and say, there's loads going on, because in Kensington we've got the V&A and the Science Museum and Imperial, and it's really nice to be able to go back and say, it's fine, there's loads going on in Battersea and it's different, but that's what we're looking for, you know, we know it's going to be different. And I hope the college is really going to build on that as well, because obviously we put on a lot of exhibitions and shows, and, you know, our big summer show with talking with Test Bed, and, you know, we're kind of already trying to get involved in what's going on down here, and we'll be doing a lot of exhibitions, and part of the Dyson building is incubator units for creative startup design businesses, and, you know, those businesses will stay in the Dyson building for 18 months, 2 years, and then I hope will stay locally in the Battersea area, and, you know, they'll have found their network here as well, so I hope we'll keep that going.